Whack full of day to the lead I do. Fiddle at the lady to the lead I do. Whack full of day to the lead I do. Fiddle at the lady to the lead I do. Whack full of day to the lead I do. Sure the no, fiddle at the lead I do. Oh, the feet I hear it. Whack full of day to the lead I do. Sure the no, fiddle at the lady to the lead I do. Oh, the feet I hear it. Whack full of day to the lead I do. Sure the no, fiddle at the lead I do. Oh, the feet I hear it. Whack full of day to the lead I do. Sure the no, fiddle at the lady to the lead I do. Oh, the feet I hear it.
Hello.
We made it. See,
we made
what
it.
Are we? Half an hour late.
Oh, we're half an hour late. That's actually pretty good for us.
Pretty much. And it's not just me. I'm telling people. I must be, I don't know. I must just.
Well, we're here. We're here. And thank you guys for joining us. And sorry we missed the last couple. That's pretty much on me, as usual. But
yes.
We will be, like I said, I'm now just to let everyone know, Cass, and like I explained to you, there'll be one Saturday a week or one Saturday a month where I'm entertaining families. So I'll be missing one Saturday a month from now on. Until that changes, I'll let people know when. But enough of that. I want to welcome Jonathan Wright to the show from Nothing New Under the Sun. Welcome back, my friend. The last time we had you on the show, your internet was not doing well, so we wanted to get you back.
Cool. Well, I appreciate being back, and yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. And
very glad that the internet's fixed itself enough we could get you back in time.
I know, right? It was fun last time, and like I wasn't able to hear the song, and I was like, oh, maybe that's normal, and then no, it wasn't normal, and then I got kicked off after like 10 minutes, and I was like, bummer. So yeah, I'm glad you guys had me back. Thanks, Cass.
It's always good to have people in. Always good. Thank you guys for your patience too out there. We appreciate it. And I believe we have some viewers that will be coming in from Jonathan's side of the universe. So please play nice and welcome everybody in. And
exactly.
Andy, thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Right. No, that's awesome. New viewers are always a great thing, I think.
Absolutely. Housekeeping from my end, I am streaming this to both the LBS channel and also to my own personal. Feel free to go and sub either up depending on where you're seeing this. So basically all of my subs, I've made the last Bittersweet channel, and I'm rebuilding from scratch. So feel free to come over and hit me up. It's all good. If you need a link, I'm sure somebody in the chat room will be able to pop one up if I don't get to it.
Very cool. Definitely go over and sub for sure.
And Jonathan's information we will have out there too by the end of the show, just so you can follow up what he's doing and where he's going. And Rick's, as always, is smothered everywhere that we go. It is in the LBS channel page as well. So one of our favorite channels and our partner channels. Go and hit him up for a sub. He's doing some really good work on all different topics and subjects.
I'm
out
all
there.
over the place. I'm on
You are?
radio. Yeah, I got a new radio show, as I was telling you, every Friday on Revolution Radio. So I will be in the Hawk's Nest, which is it's like a separate channel where there's not a lot of rules. So it's just really it's just basically linked to Revolution Radio. So I'm allowed to play music in that. So they let me do a music show now every Friday from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you just go to Revolution Radio and look for Hawk's Nest, the player for Hawk's Nest. And then if you have any requests, just go in the chat room and I will play them for you. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Chat room is a Chatsy based one as well. So
they're changing that though. There's gonna be a new one as of the 11th. There's gonna be another one. So
less.
And what I would say real quick for the people that are listening from my side that want to watch his shows, what I do, I just type in freedomslips.com and I click on, it's either usually Studio A, Studio B, or Hawk's Nest. And you literally, it's $3 boxes, right? When you type freedomslips.com and you pick a box and it starts playing.
Yep. That's awesome. That's so cool. I've had Jonathan on, I've had Cass on.
If you're on a desktop computer, there is a schedule available. I can't find it when I'm on the phone, but on the desktop it comes up. There's a schedule at the top as well where you can go find people. For sure. And have a browse through the other ones. There's a couple other people on there that we talk to a fair bit. We've done a few shows with Bill Grant as well. So go and check him out. He's always good value.
Lots of great content on there. And just and let everyone know, Jonathan, you are on the One Great Work Network as well. There's like 60 other content creators there for now. We'll get into that for sure. But before we get into that, I want to get last we had you on, we were talking about your food forest and how you were starting that. You were basically not even at the point where you were digging in the ground yet or anything. But I know since we've had you on,
starting,
barely starting. You've done a lot now. So why don't you give everybody an update first, what a food forest is, and then how much work you've done so far to get where you are now.
Okay. Yeah. And so good. Well, thank you. Yeah. So food forest is basically the idea is permaculture mixed with edible landscape, mixed with planting food instead of ornamentals. You know, edible plants, edible everything. Everything growing in your yard should be edible. That's the concept or idea of a food forest. Now, how far and how crazy you want to go with that concept or idea is up to you completely. And the people I'm learning from and having helped me have a place in Florida called Galt's Landing, and they are doing every different aspect of that on their 52 acres, from full on just throw seeds in the swamp and let it go and see what happens, to really intricately placing and designing and figuring out and scheming, to building people's backyards for them, to designing 10-foot by 20-foot patches and everything in between.
That's
and
awesome.
smaller than that, even smaller than that. So it's really, the concept is grow food.
Right. I agree.
That's the whole concept. So food forest is really, your yard is pretty big when you think about it. And if you're looking at your corner points of the whole property and you're thinking, well, my house and my garage and the rest could be food somehow, that really is kind of a forest. So I think that's really where they get the idea that you should have a food forest growing in your yard. And that sounded good to me when I realized how much yard I have and how 70s it looked, you know, holly bushes and things that were literally planted in the ground in the 70s. And so it was like, it still looked 70s. I'm like, time to dig, you know, and the earth had gotten so pulled down and mossed over and years and years of not being tilled up at all. So it's just cut things out and then start going at it with a pickaxe until you literally dig the roots out of and it goes down and down and down, because everything in the South Carolina grows in sand. And so it all runners across, it shoots across, and that's how it gets, it doesn't go down, you know?
Oh, okay. I see.
So stuff's not real deep. You can cut things out of the ground with a Sawzall and a 9-inch blade.
Okay.
You go into the dirt and then you find that first root, you go in at an angle, and you just do a little ice cream cone shape around it, and you can literally pull a chunk of dirt, and the whole thing's gone. There might be some little side runner roots, but that's it. You got the whole thing.
Interesting.
So it makes it a lot easier in that regard. Also, digging holes is much easier when it's literally all sand.
Wow, crazy. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I'm digging, I'm removing, I'm waiting on some plans. I did an entire map of my yard, which was interesting. I went and got the big 300-foot DeWalt tape measure. I got a 100-foot Milwaukee. I got two 30-footers, and I literally used every single one of them at some point in my walking around and doing this. But point to point to point to point with the big one, so I could see, okay, we got 202 feet this way, 127, 167, and 115. So it's a trapezoidal kind of a square, and all the trees that were going to stay, all the house in its entirety, the driveway, everything mapped out, like not perfectly, but pretty good detail on a grid, with each square being 3 feet by 3 feet. And I took numbers, I took measurements, I mapped the whole thing out, and I sent that to the person who's actually designing my yard.
That's cool.
So she could see what's going to stay and where it's at. And then I've done many videos for her so she can see it from a top bird's eye view, and then walking around in the yard with me. So we'll see what she comes up with, and we'll see where I start. But I'm still kind of in the removal process right now.
Wow, that's really cool that company that you're talking about actually will design it for you.
And they'll come build it for me too. If I was an old woman and was like, I want to do this and I can't, they'll be like, we'll come do it for you.
Amazing. That is so cool.
Yep, it is. It's very cool. I took down my first tree, and it was kind of a willowy type tree, but it's a really hard wood. So I don't know exactly what kind it is. And I'll just say that it was very deceiving how heavy, because you look up and you're like, oh, these are spindly little long hangy type branches. And so you cut one off and it's like thump, wham. And you're like, oh, damn, I'm glad that didn't hit the house, because this was right on the house. And so I was like, okay, I got lucky on that first one. So now let's do one more that I knew for sure was going to kind of fall away. And it was a little bigger. And wow, dude, when that hit the ground, I was like, whoa, these are... there's no playing with this. So, and I'm out there barefoot, dude. Like, that's just how I roll. So like, and I'm okay. I'm good. But it just makes you more aware.
For sure.
Like, I will lose my foot. So, you cut. And I left the two branches that were the last ones I took down, which were like almost on the house. And I left them there to catch all the other ones from hitting the house. So I just chop. They'd go wham. And then I'd go and grab it and walk it and lay it down. And I basically gently placed and dropped and fell this tree gently, except for that last one or two. And it was like, okay, here we go. And I had to kind of I didn't hurt the house, not even one little bit. Now some branches touched the house, the top with the leaves and stuff, but no damage. So
that's lucky. Good.
Yeah,
that is a talent to be able to do that. I have to say
it was not. I mean, some of it was luck, but a lot. I was really paying attention. I would have stopped if I knew I was going to ruin something, but I did one as a test, and it came down the way I kind of expected. So I was like, I can do this. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that would have sucked if your branch took out your house.
Oh, well, I wasn't cutting anything down big enough that it would have been anything more than I would have had to get up there and replace some shingles.
Right.
Wouldn't have done any real structural damage. Nothing that big. I'm not cutting. Like I said, these were branches that if you grabbed them and pulled on them, you could pull them this far. I mean, this much. You could move your whole arm with it in your hand. So they were
that heavy still.
Oh wow. God, dude, crazy heavy. And like I kept a bunch of that wood because I'm making walking sticks and I'm making all sorts of stuff. It's really cool wood. I wish I knew what kind it was.
That's good, because I know when I was talking to you, you were kind of not happy about having to take some trees down. I know that you thought about this. Like, it wasn't something you were just, I'm going to cut everything down and start, just going to town. You actually thought about it, and you didn't want to take these trees down. But I think it's really cool that you're not just going to scrap the wood. You're going to build a bench out of it. You're going to build walking sticks. So at least you're using it, and you're not.
Oh, absolutely. And the rest of it's in my wood pile, and it's going to heat the house. And then the ashes from that will go back into the earth.
Into the garden.
Will grow my food.
Yep.
Yeah, and I talked to the tree. I've told the tree too. As I'm cutting it down, I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, but I explain it to it. Like, I don't, how much the tree knows and whatever, but just the universal spirit understands that I'm not doing this out of selfishness either. Like really, it's like the whole idea of my food forest is to have way more than I need.
Yep. Yeah, you need to have enough to put the effort into it. You need to have enough that you can barter and trade out for other bits and pieces. If you can't grow and source yourself, that's the whole point of it.
And to just help too, just to be like an example, if nothing else. It's like, God, if you can, the key is to be able to like to show what you mean by doing it instead of just, I can run my mouth all day long. Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm a good mouth runner. I can do that, but it doesn't mean shit if I can't back it up with some sort of action, or here's what I built out of my mouth. I can run my mouth, but like, can I do anything? No, I'm just, you know what I mean? That's like, well, whatever. That's a category and that's fine. But you need to learn to back it up with real life. That's a big
You
part
do.
of my new thing that I'm on, is like, it needs to be applicable in real life. No more, well, on paper, doesn't this look pretty? But real life,
No.
dude. Real life.
Everything looks pretty. You can make anything look pretty on paper.
Yep.
Real life is dirty and ugly and under your fingernails, as one of us has found out this morning already by the look of that.
Oh my God. Guys, you have no idea. I've been out in the garden like all day, and Jonathan even knows because I've been chatting with him as I take breaks. We kind of chat and stuff, and I've been transplanting plants and digging. I am sore and I'm dirty, and then I didn't realize the time. So I looked at the time. I'm like, oh my God, I got my radio show in like 20 minutes. So I had to run downstairs, get on the radio, put that hour out, and then I went back outside, like Jonathan said, just to look at something. Then you start doing more fidgeting. And then I look at the time again. I'm like, oh my God, I got my show with Cass in like an hour. So then I ran. So I'm here and I'm dirty, guys, but I earned this dirt. That's all over my hands and my body. I was in there digging and doing what I can with the condition of my body. I was still in there and digging and planting and transplanting. And it was amazing.
Nice.
It's amazing.
It is. It's so much fun.
I love what
And
you
if
do.
I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's the truth. If I can get on my hands and knees in my shape and actually till the earth and
Yep.
do stuff, and I'm not doing big, I'm nothing like Jonathan's food forest. I'm not there yet. I couldn't even do that work. I would have to bring in a company like that company he's working, like dealing with. I would have to bring them in and do all of that heavy stuff. I can't do that.
Or, dude, or I've told you this before too. You could just partner up with somebody and be like, I've got the space.
That's a great idea.
You do the rest, and we split everything down the middle, bro. Like, I've got the land, and you've got the want and the desire to do this. Here you go.
Yep. That's a great
So-
idea. So yeah.
And that's
I
what
get
other
it,
people
right?
out there listening right now can do.
Yeah,
They're
the
like,
whole
well, I
concept is
can't
right.
really do any of this, but and where would I find someone? Go to your nurseries. Type in gardening on YouTube. I mean, just do a little poking and pecking. I mean, there's next door neighbor apps and all this kind of stuff where people, hey, who wants to grow a food forest? I mean, someone's gonna even hear that not knowing what it is and go, "Well, damn, that sounds cool. I would. What does that mean? Who wants to grow a food forest? What do you mean? I've got land and I can't do it. You want to come grow on my yard and then we split
We
everything?
split it right down the middle.
I
Yep.
mean, you'll get some interest.
Well,
What were you
that's
gonna
it.
say,
And
Cass?
everyone, it's the trades, it's the whole trade thing again. You know, when at some stage it's all going to come down to what you value and what you can utilize. So if you can utilize your skills to grow a garden and your neighbor can utilize his skills to build shelter,
Mm-hmm.
that's where your trade comes into it.
Mhm.
It just makes common sense, does it not?
Right.
Yep. Bartering.
Yeah.
I love bartering.
Or goat milk. I mean, you
Goat
can't
milk.
grow goat milk.
No,
You know,
but you can certainly
you-
grow goats from the leftovers from the vegetables that you're growing.
and that's right. And so, yeah, it's like,
that
but
will feed the goat.
Mhm.
It will produce the milk.
Exactly. And
produce the
so
milk.
we're definitely going to be in a system of barter because some people won't have the ability to have an entire food forest, or they've got a lot of 3 things, but they need 10 things or 20 things. And we've got 3, type of thing. And that's going to be kind of how a lot of it is. Now, the reason also that I promote food forest is because most people kind of go to that level of mentality and thinking and stop. Well, I'll have 3 things and then I'll barter. What if there is no barter? What if you're in a spot where you're like, oh shit, you don't want to be like, well, I've got corn and peas and beets. Like, that's a bummer dinner, dude. Like, it'll keep you alive, but it's like
Where's
you want
mine?
to have
What
a
do with
lot
that?
of stuff. Have stuff to pee
I
out
got
of, you want to have
beets.
stuff to make medicines out of. You want to grow turmeric. You want to grow weed. All of it.
Yeah.
Love that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Like, and it's true. I think me and Cass talk about bartering all the time. Hey, Cass, like we think that's the way things are going to
Absolutely.
go, and I think it's getting there quicker than people think. Especially from what I'm seeing with like there's shortages starting to pop up here and there. You're starting to hear about it. And I think we're going to get to that point where bartering is going to become something that's
And-
going to be taking place.
And please, everybody out there, go find a good gravity water filter They're not that expensive, and they are the most important thing you will have. The water out of the tap is already pure poison. I can't stress that enough. And when shit really hits the fan, it's going to be sewage.
Yep.
Mhm.
With poison in it. I mean, so you're gonna need a good, and the gravity filters I'm talking about, I 3 off the top of my head that will filter sewage water. Literally, you can pour
Yes.
sewage water in the top and drink what comes out of the bottom.
Wow.
So
You can get your
please,
hands on a
please look
reverse
into it.
osmosis.
Yeah,
Reverse osmosis.
and reverse osmosis.
Yep.
That's actually possibly the best way to do it. You need electricity for that, but if you've got that, then do that. And same with
Electricity.
distillation. See, and people will say, "Oh, well, don't distill your water because it removes the minerals." Again, that's where BTT comes in. You know,
Yep.
the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. You're drinking your minerals. You're taking your own minerals into your hands anyway. You don't need minerals in the water. Let's get that water as clean and pure as we can, because we are 80%, if not more, water.
That's
That's
true.
right. Anybody
Very
who's still drinking tap water in this day and age, right now,
You know, and you know what blows me
Oh my
away
God.
is I watch cooking shows, dude. I watch cooking shows, and these guys are super ninjas of their trade, right? And they're just crushing it. They're like, and then they'll go to the sink and just be like, "Hey, I'll add a water to this stock," and I'm like, "Oh, you poisoned it! You poisoned it!"
I know. All part of the
It's
matrix.
so
I honestly, I can't even look at the TV. I haven't looked at TV in I don't know how long. It's
Yeah,
just,
I-
it's
Yeah,
mind
I used to
blowing.
ask Cass all the time, like, have you seen this documentary, this movie? I don't even ask her anymore because it's pointless.
Right,
She
the
doesn't
answer is
watch
no.
anything. Like,
Right.
she'll watch like presentations or videos I send her, but anything like on a TV, it'll never happen with her. So I just gave up. I'm like, she's
It's
not
in a
gonna watch
unique
the movie.
position,
Take
and
a
most
breath.
of the people I talk to are like, "TV, what's wrong with you?" And I'm like, I have to right now. Like, I
Yep.
believe me, don't want to. It's part of my routine. It's
Yep.
part of
Yeah.
my how I have to be right now. So
Yep.
And that's fair enough. It's to each their own, isn't it? You know, my family addicted to it. There's
Oh,
no
well, man,
two
I'll
ways
tell you
around
what,
that situation.
when you
I,
have
however,
to,
have earphones and music to block
yeah,
it off.
when you have to watch it, you get real creative. Like, you're like, okay, what really is on this thing that we can watch? Like, oh my God, it's gonna be on 24/7. And my
Mhm.
mom's cool with kind of some stuff, whatever, a little bit, but if I got to be in the room too, there's like a limit. So
I
again,
watch
we watch a lot of
documentaries.
ghosts and cooking, and then for whatever reason, it's just Tom Hanks movies, dude. Like, it's what's on TV, and they're not that bad. I'm not like a Tom Hanks fan per se, but it's just like they just play all his movies all the time. So
Yep.
that's kind of our routine: cooking shows and ghosts of
Yeah,
all the
ghost
different,
shows.
and
Yeah,
UFOs. Yeah, right. Yeah,
that's what
That's
I
the
watch
goal.
too. I at least try to keep it to documentaries where I'm learning something or presentations and stuff like that. Now, do I watch the odd movie? Of course I do. I just watched the movie 300 because I think I like to look at the meaning of movies, and I think that has a great meaning. That
Mhm.
movie of, not taking people's shit and standing up for freedom, and I think it's got a great message. So if I am going to watch a movie, I'd like to kind of tie into something like Matrix or something, but for me it's always been documentaries or presentations, because I figure if I do have to partake of the TV, at least I can educate myself.
Mhm.
So I think that's important.
That's
Yeah,
true. That is true. And it's a tool like everything else. It's no different to the computers that we're using,
Mhm.
the phones that we use, and the way we connect with people and share information. So it's a tool. It can be a useful tool. I can't tolerate the misinformation that comes
Oh, for
out,
sure.
and then be surrounded by the people who just fall for it hook, line, and sinker. That breaks my brain, and I just can't deal.
Well,
I'd
and
rather
the
take myself out of that.
the commercials are designed to hurt you. And I don't mean that's not hyperbole. I mean, they're designed to psychologically damage you, especially now. And because I've woken up so much, even just in the past couple of years, but I watch this stuff now, and it is unbelievable what I see. It's like, wow, they are really programming the hell out of people.
Yep.
With racism and the whole sex weirdness thing, and
Yep.
this weird thing of like,
No,
it's like you really literally won't see same race couples on TV in commercials very much anymore, and it's a weird. And so I noticed this, and I'm like, well, I see what they're doing. They're just telling us this is how we are supposed to be. And then
Mhm.
Biden comes on TV a week ago and's like, you never see. He's like, you never see mixed couples on TV. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. I'm like, why would a president ever even say that? And let alone the fact that I'm just now like recognizing this is actually happening. Like,
Yep.
well, this is weird. And then the president of the United States said something about it. I'm like, CERN's doing something to our reality. It's weird, dude. Something's crazy. Like, I just don't know. This is just Twilight Zone world. So,
Wow.
anyway.
It's like an alternate reality. It's quite dissociative, to be honest. You look at it and just wonder why and how. I can see how and why people get addicted to it, but how are they still so blind, so willfully ignorant? That's what amazes me. I can't.
Well, I think it's a lot of people,
can't process that.
they get addicted to a cast because it's an escape, right? So if they can tie themselves into that, they get like engulfed in a series, or they get engulfed where they're watching movies or series after series, then you're not doing the work on yourself, and you're not it's a distraction. It's exactly what it's meant to be. It's a
Yeah.
distraction, and I just think like I feel great tonight. I'm tired, but I know that I earned my tired tonight. I was out there, I was doing stuff, I was in the ground, I wasn't sitting on a couch just doing nothing. And I think that's and that's what I don't like about TV and stuff. It's very addictive to the point where you're not doing anything constructive. So
It will drive you mad.
yeah.
It will.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. MK Ultra. Yep. Yeah, there you go. Salty Aussie's got it. I mean, that's the perfect way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
There's been quite a few really good comments, but I've been holding off on putting them up there because we're going to do this video shortly.
Right. Yeah. Let's get to that, Cass. So let me just back.
Yeah,
And Jonathan, correct
I'd like
me
to
if
throw some of these comments up afterwards if we could.
Okay,
please.
perfect. Yeah, I definitely want to address all the comments if you have them, and questions for Jonathan. I'm sure he'll answer after we watch his video.
Yep.
But give us a little backstory, Jonathan, of why you made this video, so people get a kind of an idea, and then we'll play your video that you made today, which is about 20 minutes long. We'll watch that, and then we'll let people comment and see what they think. I think it's a great video. I'm really excited to watch it with you.
Cool.
I think you hit on some great things, because even I've been guilty of saying government is slavery. And
it's on my website. It's on my website. I'm not like totally. Well, yeah.
Yeah, we'll
I'll let
explain
you-
it. So go ahead and just explain why you made this video. What started it?
So I put out a video, literally, and I do kind of explain this in the video too. But
Yep.
I just put out a tongue-in-cheek video real quick because I saw a little commercial they did on InfoWars for this representative who's running for governor of Arizona. And she was like, the minute I take my hand off the Bible, I'm taking our National Guard down to the border and I'm stopping the drugs and I'm stopping the trafficking. And I was like, go woman. And I just typed up a little thing real quick and I said, I think we should have a woman president. Again, tongue in cheek, man. And I said, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's like, dude, I'm just looking at these two women who are actually saying the stuff that needs to be being said about what's going on in our country. And there's no men doing it, really. No, not in the government.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I was like, hey, man, I'd be down for these two women to be president. And then I played the video and it was like, you are a slave owner, you statist, you are against everything we believe in. And I was like, what, dude? I mean, literally, not from everybody, but from several people. And it like, they kept at it and they kept at it and they kept at it. And then the next day they kept at it. And I went, okay, now I need to respond to this.
Right.
So here we are. Government is slavery. Now, what I didn't put in this video, and I wanted to, was that saying government is slavery is the exact same thing. It's called a metaphor. It's the exact same thing as saying traffic is hell. Okay. Now, traffic is hell. We're only talking about 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. during rush hour when traffic is hell. And then you say, so traffic is hell. And then somebody else goes, well, then what does that mean? Because traffic, what is traffic? Traffic is actually people in cars. It's just, that's what it is. When you say traffic is hell, you're using a flowery metaphor to get somebody to understand, oh, it's bad. Yeah. So government is slavery. Right? Do we understand now? Yep. But it's not slavery. It's people making it slavery. And I just, to me, that's so simple and so basic. And so, yeah. And It's like, no, that's the point. And not only that, but I have to repeat that point 75 times because people are like, you're for slavery. No, you're for slavery. No, you're for slavery. So that's why I made this video.
All right. So fire it up, Cass, and we will definitely watch it with everyone, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. I think it's gonna be really cool. Fire it up.
Hey, look at that. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Nothing new under the sun. My name is Jonathan Wright. And I actually do disagree with Mark Passio. And I'm here to explain how government is not slavery. Okay? So this will be exciting because I know there's a lot of government is slavery folks out there. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how this works. And it'll be educational because I feel that although a good portion of you understand natural law and the concepts there within, you still don't think for yourself. You literally just listen to what Mark Passio has said and you repeat it. Now, I do want to say that I am certainly not intending to attack Mark Passio with this video. I disagree with him, and I'm stating that, and I'm going to make a case for what I'm saying. The people who may end up feeling attacked in this are the people who I refer to as Mark's cult members. People who just listen to what he says, and they don't think for themselves, and they simply just, in this case, repeat a sentence. A sentence which I will show you is, at the very best, incomplete, and otherwise just wrong. And that sentence is, government is slavery. Now, what do I mean by that sentence is wrong or incomplete? Well, what I mean is to say government is slavery, first of all, assumes a couple of things which are incorrect. And that is that it's always slavery and that it always will be slavery. And I know a bunch of you are out there freaking out, pointing at the computer screen going, exactly, dude. And the problem with that is, let's go back in time and look at our founding fathers. And they created a government. So if you're going to sit there and blanket statement say, government is slavery, with no thought into anything that's being considered in that conversation, how appropriate is that? It's not, is the answer. And so the founding fathers did not create slavery. They created a government of, by, and for the people. Now, has that gone drastically awry? Yes, it has. And another thing, before we get into this, I'm not condoning government. See, I know you're all out there, he's condoning slavery and condoning government. No. What I'm pointing out is the fact that there is government, and realistically, there always will be government, because people are social creatures. And here we go. This is one of the big mic drops, okay? Government is actually people. Yeah. See, and I'll point that out in the love letter that I received earlier. I'm going to go through that, and we'll talk about all the points in this, and I'll explain just what's kind of going on with it. But government is actually people. And since people make up the government cannot be slavery. Government actually, if you want the most realistic boiled down version for, again, reality, not for an ideal that looks good on paper, but for in the actual real world where things matter and things happen, government, and actually what we'll do, let's say this, because government is people with an agenda. Okay? Now let's go back for a minute where I can finish explaining how government is slavery is at best an incomplete statement. Okay. So the full statement that would actually make it correct is that government in its current expression is slavery. See, now that is a true statement. Yes, government in its current expression is, in fact, slavery. Government is not slavery. Government, the word, if you break it down etymologically, which I know you guys are all just waiting for this one, yeah, it means mind control. Correct. But see, there again, it isn't mind control. That's a different thing. It means mind control. So that means that the people that back in the day named it understood what they were going to use it for. But again, it was people. And again, all the government is slavery folks out there. You've sat on your hands and you've allowed yourself to just go, government is slavery, bro. If you have anything to do with it, you're condoning slavery, bro. And what you've done then is allow the evil to fester and take over. Let's look at this as an example using Mark Passio's own words. And this is an example of how the government and slavery folks have failed. Okay? The reason government is so out of control is because that which has manifested as a result of what you wrongly resist is that which will continue to persist. So what am I saying? I'm saying you have been wrongly resisting being involved in your own self-governance. That's right. You've cowered it out and been sitting on the sidelines and listening to somebody who's very smart and knows quite a bit and allowed you to turn your own thinking off and not try to come up with any solutions to real problems, which is where this has all come from. But instead, you sit on the sidelines, you yell, government is slavery, and then what? You just hope that the world falls completely apart like the movie The Road or the Book of Eli, and we go into just absolute chaos where you're like at a backpack and a rifle, and you're like, all right, man, now it's all about self-defense. And if it goes there, guess what? There will still be government. It will be the warlords. Again, people are social creatures and they will group up and they will have groups of people with an agenda doing things. And if good people don't group together with that agenda, the evil will take over. And then government in its current form, in its current expression, will indeed be slavery. But it does not have to be. And therefore saying government is slavery is wrong. Because government is people, and people can be good. We know this, don't we? We do. So let's just really quickly dive into the idea of federal government and local government. I don't agree with any federal government of any sort. It should be completely abolished and eliminated. Now, we're always going to need a local. You don't like the word government. So I've come up with a new one. Let's call it governation, okay? Because what we're doing is governing situations, not people, okay? So we will govern situations locally with our local governation, okay? Because it's not going to be called government anymore. This is me explaining how people can evolve and the ideas and structures and things that we build can evolve with us so that no longer will government be slavery, but government will be really just what it's supposed to be. Governing situations that come up. Oh my God, half the city's on fire. What do we do? How do we get our roads? And it's all people. That's how we do it. We all individually do all of these things. And so realizing that makes us realize that we are the government. That's how it was set up. And for you to sit back and just ignore government and not become part of it and not try to take it back from the inside, in other words, fight for it, is basically you accepting that you've lost, you're behaving like a coward, and you're letting evil win. And that's what that is. Where this comes from is my video that I put out called "We Should Have a Woman President," which was, by the way, tongue in cheek. Okay, neither of those women are running for president. Neither of them. I put that out as a statement about the fact that there are no men saying what needs to be said in regards to the fact that our border is wide open and fentanyl and children are being trafficked across it by the cartel. My suggestion was use the system that's already in place, the National Guard. And Carrie Lake, who's hopefully going to be the governor of Arizona, said she was going to take her National Guard down there and plug the hole in the wall and effectively stop the poison coming across our border, which is killing our people, and stop the cartel from trafficking children. That's right, folks. Not government is slavery. Stopping people from trafficking children. That's right. That's what I was recommending in my video, not condoning slavery. In fact, I would point out that you are condoning slavery by allowing our border to stay open and not having any compassion for the fact that children are being trafficked absolutely wide open. No one there to stop them because our government has turned a blind eye and actually told the people who are supposed to be securing our border not to. So that's what my video was about. My video was about, hey, let's find a solution to this. And the funny thing is, I've spoken to many of you government is slavery folks, and you don't have an answer. Your answer to, well, then how do we go from a government like we have to no government and to true self-governance? And your answer is, government is slavery. Oh my God. That's actually your answer. You don't have an answer for this. The answer is, right now, we use the methods and means that we have, which is a military force, to guard our border. Sorry, but yep, I'm for that. I'm for stopping children being trafficked. Yep, and drugs pouring into our country, killing more middle-aged men than anything else right now. So yes, I'm for that. So now that we've kind of gotten some of the base points out, let's go over my love letter. All right, so here's my love letter. Now, this was put out to everyone, so I don't feel bad at all about sharing this. And I'm going to keep the person's name out of it just for the sake of it, because I'm not trying to simply bash anyone individually, but yeah, but this way of thinking, absolutely. Let's go. So let's start. Government is slavery. It cannot be reasoned with. These pitiful excuses for human beings seek nothing but control over everything you do. Okay, well, so far the author has at least subconsciously spoken the truth, which is that these pitiful excuses for human beings, so government is slavery, no, but these pitiful excuses for human beings, yes, so government is human beings. That part, we've gotten that so far. Nothing but control over everything you do. See, so now here's where I have my first problem. Everybody who knows Mark Passio and his work and is in his classes, at least the previous ones, does in fact know this person that I'm going to speak of. And this person that I'm going to speak of, we will just call him Jay for now. He does plan to run for Senate. He is very well versed in Mark Passio's natural law, and he understands it completely well. So what I'm saying here, these pitiful excuses for human beings seek nothing but control over everything you do. That is wrong. Not everybody seeks nothing but control over everything you do. It's simply a fallacy. That's not true. There are good people. How can you not understand this? They will not stop. The parasites, correct. Yes, the parasites will not stop. There is no scenario where it is handed back to the people. That was a quote directed at me specifically. And so I agree. It will never be handed back to the people. It will be taken back by the people. Again, by the people who are willing to fight and not be cowards and sit on the sidelines and just go, I don't have an answer, but government is slavery, dude. In order to make real change happen, one must first heal their own worldview poisoning. I very much agree. And I will talk about that a little bit more. Then learn how to help others heal theirs. Absolutely. Stay true to principles, natural law, true anarchy, and objective morality. These are the keys to freedom and to the truth. I agree. No real change will occur so long as we keep advocating for government, a word that means mind control. Okay, see? Here we go. Advocating for government. Nobody really, at least on this side right here, is advocating for government. We have government. And again, I've asked you folks many times, how do we go to no government? And your answer is government is slavery. And that's why this video is out. Because what we do is use the tools at our disposal, not turn our backs on them like children and sit down and pout and hope for everything to completely crumble, which it is. And then when that happens, dude, there's not going to be this beautiful anarchy that you guys keep talking about. It's going to be fucking warlords ruling over you. Okay? You have to have good people be strong and take back what was given to us by our founding fathers, our government, our real, true, of, by, and for the people government. We take that back, not sit on the sidelines pouting, going, oh, it's slavery, bro. If you are not in charge of yourself, your property, the fruits of your labor, your ability to become educated, your ability to defend yourself and your loved ones, are you truly free? The answer is no. Correct. No one is advocating or even saying anything at all about not being in charge of yourself, your property, your labor, your money, your education, or your ability to defend yourself or your loved ones. I am not advocating or saying that, never even hinted at that. So why that's in here pointed at me, no idea. But I do agree, you are not truly free if you don't have those things. And government, as it currently exists, has taken those things from you. So what you do is you fight back, take your government back, make it good. And when that does happen, it will slowly dissolve. In other words, the federal government will go completely away, and we will down to be local governments, self-sustaining little tiny governments run by people, for people. That's how it will go. Okay, here we go. Fuck the government. Fuck the president. Fuck anyone who runs for president, even if it is a woman. I'm going to stop there and point out, and let's jump back now to where it says one must first heal their own worldview poisoning. See, I think that somebody who says just blanket statement, here's how we fix the problem. Fuck the government. Fuck the president. Fuck anyone who runs for president, even if it's a woman. That is a poisoned worldview. That is somebody who does not know how hard it is to actually fight for something and get it back. How much easier it is to just sit there and act like a liberal leftist who's being triggered by a pro-life sign and screaming, illegitimate, illegitimate. Fuck the government. Fuck the government. All right? That's what we're seeing here. So that is, in fact, the poisoned worldview that does need to be changed before any real change can happen. I agree. Yes. So may God have mercy on your soul if you advocate for these psychopaths who want to kill us because they hate us. No one's advocating for psychopaths who want to kill us. People are advocating for good people to get off their asses and engage in your own society and take it back. Yes, that's what we're advocating here. It's called not being a weakling. Stop being a coward. Do something that matters. If you really think that you're saving the world with your podcast, I promise you, you're not. And that includes me. I'm talking to myself there too. Real world activity is what's going to save the real world. I don't think that you should not do your podcast. They are fantastic outlets and people can learn from them. It's not saving the world. You're not doing the great work by having a podcast. Okay? You actually have to do shit in the real world, things that are going to cause turmoil and grief between you and others, like this with me and you guys. I am not a government is slavery person. I have explained now that the statement should read, government in its current expression is slavery, which means it's up to you listening to this out there to get off your ass and take it back. One other thing that I would like to bring to your attention too, if you're out there and you are a government is slavery person, I want you to ask yourself, do you pay taxes? Are you a hypocrite? Because I started my own business and I never did. So just keep that in mind. Before you start pointing fingers, are you paying taxes? Is the job you have keeping money back and giving the in its current expression is slavery? All your money? Are you funding people to go and murder children? I hope not. Now, I would be happy to go on anyone's show and we could pleasantly debate these ideas, okay? But the fact of the matter is, I just walked you through how you're wrong. And the only way to get better in this situation is to admit that you were wrong. So hopefully this is good food for thought and we can move forward with an understanding that really action is the only thing that's going to save this. Not fanciful rhetoric, okay? Not typing out a little sentence and going, ha ha, man, I've got you. See, what happens is the people that are spilling across the border will eventually make their ways to your cities that are up north. And then it will actually be a problem that you will realize. And it will no longer just be, oh, government is slavery. We shouldn't use our National Guard to plug a hole in the wall to stop child trafficking and drugs. You're advocating for slavery. Again, no, I'm not. And I'm available for discussion at any time if you would like to talk about this. So I love all my natural law people. Please wake up. Please think for yourselves and keep learning. Talk to you soon.
Well, there we have it.
Indeed.
Wow. So how did that go? What was the response, Jonathan?
Oh, man, I've had good and bad. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. That's all I can say,
Wow.
boy. I tell you, man, the people that hate me, boy, they really hate me. And then the people that love me are kind of like, wow, dude, cool. You know, like I mean, I could go for hours reading lists of things people say. It's just crazy. It's, I mean, I kind of knew this would happen, but it's just like, wow.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, but one thing I will notice, because I got on a thread of I dropped it on a Discord server and I gave it a few minutes because the legitimate arguments would come after people had watched it. So, and then there was, yeah, and that was good. So I was there, I was ready. And they were like, da-da-da. Mm-hmm. And it just went from there, boy, and it was on full steam ahead. And I literally had to say everything I said in my video again, sometimes 3 and 4 times. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, did you watch it? And someone would be like, twice. Wow. Okay, well, you missed it. I didn't say that. People are accusing me of saying things I didn't say. Why are you saying that we're all cult members? I never said that. It's just it's off the charts. It's like I can't even.
Wow.
So I do have more respect for people in Mark Passio's position, including him, who put out things and they put themselves out there and make statements that they believe are true and in some cases know for a fact on a lot of his stuff. I mean, I'm not trying to bash Passio here. I'm saying that thing he got wrong. Okay. Most of what he talks and says, I'm all on board with. But it's no one's perfect. You know what I mean? And so
that's true for sure.
I
Right?
you kind of have to be ready. And I said it in my video. I said the people that are going to get upset about this are the ones I'm talking about, right? They're the cult members. And then, you get these questions. Well, why am I a cult member? I didn't say you were. And then if you're getting upset, you're a cult member, dude. And then I didn't explain what I mean by cult member, okay, and what I think a cult is, which I don't think it's this horrible, terrible Jim Jones thing necessarily. Jim Jones was a cult. Christianity is a cult, folks. AA is a cult, okay? A cult, ultimately, if you look up Webster's dictionary definition, says it's basically any group that has some sort of weird obsession with one dude. Okay, that's like one of the versions.
Or
the other
religious.
one, and there's a couple of that are all kind of similar, but it's basically like, dude, so if you're not thinking for yourself and you're repeating something that sounded really good the first 10 times you heard it, you're like, I can't find holes in it. I'm just going to start shooting that out. You're in a cult, dude. Even if it's a Christian cult and you're like, the Bible says this, see? Yeah, that's called a cult. I'm sorry. It's a cult. I went through AA. It saved my life. And it is a cult. Because, again, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad or good. I tell the truth when I find it. And I'm sorry if it hurts some people's feelings. It's just how it is. I'm not in this to not hurt feelings. I don't try to hurt feelings unless I get poked enough times. And then, wow, man, I have a really sharp tongue when I want to. And I try not to do that because, I mean, it's like I feel bad when I hurt people's feelings. So I try to keep it to you're just wrong, you know what I mean, and leave it on that level.
What did you think, Cass, of his video?
Yeah, I've been over it a few times. You've got some points. You've got some valid points. Don't get me wrong. I think we're all entitled, like I said in the chat, I think we're all pretty much entitled to have an opinion on it all.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fact that we place so much faith in, historically, have placed so much faith in these people that we don't personally know. We only see the advertised side of them and allow them to make the decisions and drink from the trough. I think that is the biggest issue. There's no natural law in that. None whatsoever. Yes, as a society, there needs to be someone to tell you where to sit, stand, and do other things, but not to the degree that they are now. So, yes, it is slavery to a degree, because I tell you what, for every hour that you work that you hand over money in taxes, absolutely, that is slavery. If you can break that matrix, 100%, you are better off.
Right. Did you just read the comment, Jonathan? Is that what you said right there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And I've heard from people who talk to Mark Passio in private that he said very similar things.
Yeah.
So the reality is, like, I mean, I can't express enough. I don't know how I could say it more and any more clearly that I'm not condoning government. Like, I don't understand. Like, we have government. It ain't going anywhere.
No.
So we can go, well, I'm going to ignore it and pretend it's not real.
That's not
because
the answer either.
If I give it any attention, I'm in the slavery business. Well, I mean, you're going to go down. And I'm not. And the point is, when we do take it back, it will get smaller. And ultimately, we need to stop calling it government when we're talking about what I'm talking about, because I'm saying stop doing what's happening now. Change the name of the whole organization, because there will always be groups of people that get together to solve problems. And what I'm doing is pointing out that that's what it originally was intended to do. It's grown into a great big monster. We need to get inside there and bring it back down to what it was intended to be. And we don't have to call it government anymore, because I know that term has been ruined by people like actually ruining it and making it what it is, deciding to call it mind control in the inception of it. So it was intended to be a tool of slavery. I
Yes.
get that. I do agree with everybody and all the points of it. It is a horrible, nasty, evil thing.
Yes.
It exists. We can't pretend it doesn't. And
No.
it's not going to go away because we say government is slavery, dude. So that doesn't work. We've tried that and it doesn't
Yeah.
work. So I'm
Yeah.
just looking at real world like solutions here. And like I
Yeah.
said, the whole reason I could have probably done an hour on this and explained a lot better my points and gone into detail more. But this was a shoot from the hip. These dudes kept poking at me in the chest because I said, let's go stop our border from being wide open. And,
Yeah.
and they were telling me I was condoning slavery because I wanted to close my border. And I was like, nope, nope. So that's where that's just where that came from. And I would much prefer that we could have the utopia that, and I don't think Mark pushes the utopia, but as a listener of Mark's work, you get the utopia mindset that, ooh, it could just be we're all off in our own little worlds doing our own thing and there is nobody saying shit to anyone. But it's never gonna happen. That is a pipe dream that works only on paper. Simply because there will always be groups of people that go, hey, who's going to put all these fires out? And you got a bunch of gung-ho dudes that are like, we will. Who's the fire department? Those guys that put out the fire?
That's true. And so what you're saying,
government.
It's kind of like what we were talking about before we watched the video, that it's going to, like when it came to bartering and that, as we were discussing, it's going to come down to communities governing themselves and taking their power back, right? And I think that me and Cass have talked about that on this show, Cass, as you remember, like that's where we have to get back to, is community and getting to know each other in our neighborhoods. Like I just think of how many people don't even know their neighbors anymore and never talk to them and stuff like that. And I think that I've always said that we have to get back to community and start to help each other. And I think that's the way we have to go and stop getting, like you were saying, get away from the big government and start bringing it down to a local level. It's a great discussion to have because there's no easy answers. This isn't a black and white quick fix thing, which I've said many times, and I know Cass has. Like, this is a real problem, and it's
generational.
Yeah, it's huge. This is such a big monster that government's turned into that it's. I always say I'm never gonna see the day where there is no government in my lifetime. This is such a big problem, and I keep saying this is a spiritual problem and a morality problem, a consciousness problem. It's not a voting problem. So I think that it's gonna take real work and confronting it, and not just saying it's slavery and then turning your back, because I think that's how we got in this mess in the first place in a lot of ways.
The most important thing you just said was that it's a morality and a consciousness problem. Period. End of statement. Mic drop. Walk out of the room. That's it. Government is people. It's a morality problem. End of 4-hour conversation in 2 seconds. Seriously.
Voting isn't going to do anything though, because these people are selected, not elected.
That's true.
There's we don't have the option at the moment under the current system to choose who we put our trust into to control the overall. And quite frankly, I don't trust any of them.
Yep.
It needs to be a complete and utter overhaul. The whole evil system is what needs to be fought. And there are people attempting. I mean, don't get me wrong. Whether it's winnable or not, that's another question. But I tell you what, it's not going to happen. Like Rick said, it's not going to happen in our lifetime. This is a generational battle.
And here's another thing that was brought to my attention. I kind of wish I could claim credit for this, but people in the United States that are looking at this government thing and really, well, AOC, and I don't know how much you see of our morons that run their mouths on television all the time and call themselves our representatives, but nonetheless, they are that. And those people get to make decisions for you. And so think about how dumb and vapid and soulless these people are. And because you think government is slavery and I can't be involved in that, the vapid, soulless idiots get to make decisions for you and take your money and spend it on their shit.
Only if you comply.
That's right. That's right. You don't have to pay your taxes. Now, see, and everybody goes, oh, I didn't. And I say, bring them a fuck on. And if enough people didn't, what are they gonna do, dude?
Like,
But if you
mass
follow
non-compliance.
along, oh well, I couldn't. My job is, it takes my money right out. And listen to how Mark responds to that. I won't even respond to that statement, and I will steer anyone that wants to hear what I really think. Go listen to Mark respond to that statement, and what he would say to do, and how he says to handle. Oh, you're working a job that takes your taxes out, really? Well, I can just say it's not a good response.
Yeah.
It's not
No.
the right thing to do. You're funding the government. I'm simply making a video, making a suggestion saying, hey, let's go plug that hole. It doesn't have to be a forever solution. It's a right now solution.
That's right.
That's a
That's
true
exactly-
statement too. The governments worldwide have closed the hospitals. Think about it. That's so true. They shut the world. That's what I keep trying to tell people. Like in the last 2 years, they shut the world down.
I know.
That is like, think about that. I always tell people, sit back and really don't just say it. Like, think about that. They shut the world basically to a standstill, and it didn't take them that long.
The medical industry is as at fault for our current situation, and for the indoctrination of the molestation of general health. They're complicit in the degradation of the food chain, in what they encourage us to feed our kids and how to raise our families. They are complicit. You know, medical heals nothing but what they want to heal.
The broken bone. I saw somebody's comment, and that is about all the medical does. It's great that they have those guys for when you do break a bone.
Yeah,
but my
knee
God,
surgery
when your heart's not working, or you're getting numb over here, or something starts clicking, dude, it's because you're putting poison in your body. Period. And then you go to the doctor, and he'll be like, "Well, I don't know, but you are old, so that's just how you are now. But we have pills if you want those." And yeah, give me some pills, okay. And then those are going to cause this and this and this, and it's actually a Bible that you'll need to read. But then we've got other pills to cover those, and then it goes on and on and on from there. But we'll just see how these first 4 do for you.
And that's the problem, you know. And the world's being dumbed down. How many times do I have to how many times do I go back to this? We've been bred dumb. We've been getting medicated down through the brainwashing, the subliminal, through the medications, through our schooling, education. The worldwide, we are being bred dumb, and we have been for the last 50, 60, 70 years.
Wow.
We need to break out of that, and we need to start educating people to think for themselves, to unwind every bit of history and every bit of life as they live it at the moment. Unwind that and think about the why. Take back your own power, people. That's what we need to push, more so than any of the non-reasonable or, okay, logistically true, yes, but not viable solutions. You know, we need to unwind ourselves from the matrix and step out.
In comes food forest.
Yes.
Absolute, true, pure, real solution that is natural, is in nature, is part of natural law, and will help everyone. It's not the only solution, but it is a solution, and it is something that everyone can and should do. And I know a lot of the spiritual things, oh, there should never be a should. You shouldn't tell me what I should do. I am telling you, you should grow food. At the very least, your own for you. So that you're not a burden on someone else's supply. Think of it that way. How can I not be a burden on others?
Because again, they made it all so easy. So you go back 50, 60 years, all the houses had their own little veggie gardens out the back, had their own little chicken coops out the back. Then they started making lettuces available 12 months of the year round in supermarkets, and people went, oh, convenient. I love lettuce in the middle of winter. Thank you very much. And it just grew from there. So they've made it so convenient to not look after your own garden, and people have forgotten how to do it. So that's another one of the things that we need to snap people out. Forget what you've been taught. Forget your history. Relearn everything. It's the only way out of it. Teach your kids a better way. Teach your kids how to do things naturally, and bring them up to be independent thinkers. Don't let them be indoctrinated in this education system that runs around the world, because all that's doing is teaching you to be a parrot. It's not teaching you to think. You're not encouraged to think. You what's the word for it? The brain work. If you do think for yourself and ask the questions, you're penalized for that. Trust me.
Oh, for
I
sure.
was in there 20 something years ago.
Yeah.
You guys, same. You ask a question, you question their authority, and all of a sudden you're the bad kid in the corner, get out.
Yep.
The ones who parrot and faithfully go, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, whatever, ma'am, they're the ones who go to the top of the class, get promoted through, and then repeat that parroting to the next generations.
Yep.
They're the ones that need to be stopped.
Yeah, they don't want critical thinkers by any stretch of the word, or people that push back or question at all. And so that's the problem. And I think people have to start actually taking, like you said, taking their power back. I think that's so important, and start realizing that. And I think, like Jonathan said, food forest, that's a great way. Start learning. And you said start growing your own food. I think we have to start taking our own responsibility back too, because I imagine if all of a sudden there wasn't grocery stores, they're empty. There's no.
That's coming. That is coming.
It's coming, right? And then how many people? Yeah.
And weaning ourselves off of this regular, I got to have 4 pieces of meat a day. And I'm sorry, I don't say go vegan, but boy, you better realize that when they're telling you you're not going to have meat, they mean it.
You're not kidding.
Really do mean it. They mean it. Unless you've got your own meat, you better figure out how to sustain, because boy, I tell you what, when you get hooked on meat and then you have it taken away from you, you'll do anything. Oh my God, I'm starving to death. And when you consciously go, okay, no, I'm not, and you allow yourself to cheat even or whatever, and because you're trying to, for morality's sake, maybe wean yourself off meat when it's still available, that's really hard to do. Okay. So when it gets taken from you, just imagine the level of what you will do for it. Whether it's eating people, whether it's stealing your neighbor's everything, whether it's shooting people, whether it's going with them in their trucks to their safe camps because they have food there, whatever, you'll do shit you wouldn't normally do. Yeah. So wean yourself off of these. See, here's the thing. I believe that eating is probably the biggest consciousness killer. It's what holds us into this reality. It's one of the things that holds us into this reality so firmly, because we love eating. And watch those cooking shows, man. There are people that spend their lives dedicated to making 4 things into this, just wow. And it's all about how it tastes and the flavor and I mean, eating really is about sustenance. And so I don't know. I just feel like if you want to enjoy your food, that's wonderful. I don't simply that much. I do cook, and I do enjoy my food when I make it, but it's not like if I only get a protein shake and some supplements and a bag of chips for the day, as long as I'm not hungry, I'm cool. I am.
Well, think and look how bad the diet's gotten across the world too, over the like years. Like I mean, now everything's fast food. They make it more convenient now than ever.
Right.
You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, and when I say bag of chips, I have like these organic, non-GMO blue corn chips. So it's not like I'm eating Lay's potato chips. I eat really, really healthy stuff. I eat very little of it, and I feel great because of it. I haven't had animal flesh since I watched the movie Earthlings. Oh my God. It's just, you just can't eat. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't even watch most of the movie. I headphoned it, and then the parts that I felt like I needed to watch some of it just to be like, wow. And then the rest of it, I was like, nope, I can't watch this. It's horrible.
That's true. They don't. Yeah. The comment was just, we don't even know how they're growing our food. That's so true.
Right.
And I can tell you, I've done it. Me and Cass have talked about it, and because I've dug into the whole subject of dirt, something that a lot of people don't think about. But when you start gardening and digging in the dirt and working with plants, you really start taking notice of dirt. And then I started looking into it. And as I've said to people before, we're farming on soil that they've been farming on for over 200 years. The soil is dead. You can throw chemicals on it for so long, but that's going to eventually crash. You need to take care of your soil. So now, because we have poor soil, all of our stuff that we're buying, even if you're buying veggies and all of that, fruit and all of that in the grocery store, there's not really much nutritional value. There's nothing left in the soil. There's no minerals. There's no vitamins. Look into it, guys. I'm not shitting you. Our food is so low quality, and when you start growing your own, like I've noticed in the last couple of years, when you grow your own, it tastes better, it smells different, it's got a different feel. Like it's just, I sound crazy, but it's true.
Yeah, it's
And
very, very true.
yeah,
Very true.
You put love into it, it gives you love back. That's just how that's
there you
natural
go.
law. It's called natural law. It's called getting what you give. That's what natural law is. You get what you give.
Yep.
In all aspects of life, in your thought, in your emotion, in your action, you get what you give.
Yep. I absolutely concur with that. True statement.
Yep, true statement. Wow,
Yep.
amazing. What a great show. I really enjoyed this, and I'm glad you came on, Jonathan. And
thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Is there any questions there, Cass? I know you're monitoring chat, so if there's anything that we've missed, I don't want to miss anyone.
I don't think so. I think we've pretty much got them all up there and answered pretty much everything. Anybody got any last comments you want to make?
Yeah, this is the time to ask Jonathan while we got him on here.
Everybody's like,
and
he's run his mouth plenty.
I might try something different today. When we finish up with the conversation, I might run that song again at the end, just to give people a chance to say the see you laters and finish up and throw any questions that they want us to pass on for Jonathan after the show, sort of thing.
Cool. Okay.
I do believe.
Perfect. So yeah, and let everybody know, Jonathan, where can they find all of your information, your videos? Like, let everybody know where they can find you, and maybe Cass can put some links in the chat. Can you do that, Cass?
Yeah, yep. And I have a dauntless assistant backing me up today, so it's not left up to me to scramble.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
So, thanks. All my stuff can be found at my website, which is nothingnewunderthesun.us. And you can find all my social media if you just scroll straight down when you go there, and it'll all be grouped at the bottom. onegreatworknetwork.com, Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. And then YouTube, but YouTube, there's not much I can put on there. This one, I was able to get up there, but a lot of them they censor. So I put most of my stuff on Odyssey and One Great Work Network.
Perfect. And that's true. Like New Zealand food tastes better from the vitamins in the soil. So yeah, but I'm when I'm talking about our soil, guys, I'm talking about like these mass farms that they just keep cranking crops out over and over and over again. They never gives the soil time to rest.
Well, I mean, we understand, I don't know, maybe, but hopefully if you guys haven't looked this up, this is not a conspiracy theory, but all the chemicals they've been spraying, those are not contrails up there for the past 45 years. Those are chemtrails, and they've got barium, strontium, and aluminum salts. And the aluminum has taken over our soil, and Monsanto has created seeds that grow in aluminum. Yeah. So they know they've on purpose ruined our soil.
It's a coincidence, Jonathan.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. It was the wind. It's like on the ghost shows. I'm like, that was the wind. You see a black shadow move across the thing. I'm like, that's the wind.
Yeah. God, yeah. That's another whole thing when you start looking in the chemtrails. I message Cass all the time. I'm hey Cass, and I'm like, they're spraying above my head. See them going up back and forth. Yeah, that's what my skies look like sometimes. And then now they're getting tricky. Now they're getting tricky because I'm up late, so I'm usually outside. I try to get as much fresh air and sit outside as I can. So I'm usually have my coffee in the evening outside, and you can hear them back and forth, back and forth. What are we looking at?
One Great Work Network.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
oh, that's cool.
I just got all my little, I got so much, everything around me is within arm's reach, and it's all crazy conspiracy stuff.
Well, yeah, but it's good to look into this stuff, I think, and at least ask questions. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, it's the point is, once you start looking into it, there's no conspiracy theory about it. It is a conspiracy, period. And you go, oh, wow, this is crazy. They're out to get us.
Yeah, and have been for years. You know, we were born into this. Like, they've been trying to kill us for a lot longer than any of us have been around. That's for sure.
Yep. I remember in one of Alex Jones' shows, he sat next to some dude on the plane that was like wearing a black trench coat, and he knew that guy was like a bad guy. And the guy was like, he waited till the whole plane ride was over, and they were like sitting on the tarmac or whatever at the end, and the guy started talking to Alex, and he's like, I know who you are. And he's like, oh, well, da-da-da. And he's like, why don't you come like work for us? Basically, was kind of the conversation. And Alex was like, not happening, dude. And he's like, Alex, do you not realize that what we use against you guys is the fact that you because Alex was like, we adapt, man. We'll adapt. We'll live through whatever you do to us. And he's like, I know. We know. That's why we're doing this. We're mutating you rats into the trash that we expect you to be for us. And it's just like, oh my God. Like, and see, these are the things that even if he said that, I mean, it's just like no one's gonna believe that. And he lived it. And I know that shit's true. And it's like, wow, dude, these are the people.
Yep.
They
That's what the
know
whole
that
deal
we
is.
will adapt and be able to get big and fat and really dumb and trottle around and we'll still be alive though. And it's just like, wow, they're making a zoo out of us.
Correct. Absolutely 100% truth.
Which they can then justify when they go, well, look at how suffering they are. We just need to electrocute them all.
This recent bullshit is what I will call it. The solution to the bullshit, if I can say it that way, contains enough nasty little bits and pieces within that very, very soon it'll be quite simple to just eliminate a whole city, group, family, big area, little area that is all connected to this. And the ones who get affected and go early from that, I think they might be the lucky ones. Those of us that are strong enough and have gone, you know what? No, I don't require that. Thank you very much. We're the ones that are going to have to fight to survive.
Oh, yeah. The army's being built.
Oh, for
Correct.
sure. And you can already see them starting to play these sides against each other. They're already lining it up. I hear it all the time. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, I can't even say it on here, guys. Sorry. You guys know what we're talking about, but we will definitely get flagged.
These guys know what we're talking about, trust me.
Yeah. If we say anything about like, along that line, they will yank those videos so quick. But you guys know what we're talking about, and you hear it. They're already starting with the whole blame game. So
everything that comes out is put out there with intent to manipulate the mindset of the gullible and the willfully ignorant. That's the whole
the mind control aspect of television has such a big part of it. It's unbelievable.
Social media too.
Well, right. Yeah. I kind of consider that.
I look at
You're right. It is a different thing, but yeah. And it's actually way more powerful. Fuck, TV lost its backseat years ago to that, but TV's still kicking along, boy. It's doing its thing. It's getting
hanging
its funding. Oh yeah, it is. And it's another weird thing on TV. Just for those who don't watch it at all ever, what they are promoting and pushing right now on the TV is the little round blue ball circling the sun. For all you flat and round Earth folks out there, I'm sure everybody's got a version and an opinion. They're pushing the ball theory. Like every time, in every 10 minutes, you'll see it. If it's on your show you're watching, there's a new TV show out called Moonhaven or something, and it's about 2 moons and 2 earths, and I haven't gotten into it, but I'm sure they're telling us the truth on some levels. Again, go back to my Crater Earth Series 5 and you'll see what I mean with the binary star system thing. And it's crazy. They're pushing real hard for us to keep in our minds that the moon is this rock floating around us and we're floating around a sun, and that's all going around something bigger. But your sky never changes. The stars, they never, ever, ever change. But we're traveling these trillions of miles around, and the star that we're circling is also on a bigger path. So we're constantly traveling, but the sky, it never changes. You're not supposed to wonder about that or question it or ask anything. It's just how it is.
Yep.
So. It's just that's a perfect example of how dumbed down the human race has become, because right up until that was created and brought out for whatever purpose they had at the time. I've seen several theories on that. I haven't got one myself. It was quite logical the way that the old maps and the old knowledge has it laid out, and it makes perfect sense. This does not. And yet nobody questioned it. Everybody went along with it. Perfect, brilliant answer. Thank you very much. And went along with it and perpetuated the myth. It's a bit like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You know, you'll go along with it and you'll get pissed off when you find out that you've been lied to for the first 4, 5, 10 years of your life. But then you turn around and do it to your own bloody kids when you have them.
Yep.
That's the biggest mind blown to me that I come across as a youngster is you get shitty when somebody lies to you, and yet you then turn around and perpetuate that on the next generation. That is what is wrong with society.
Yep.
That's what I tell people. You have to question your beliefs and where they came from, because are they something that you found out on your own and implemented into your life, or is it just something that you've been told that's been passed down, 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 down? So that's where I say shadow work comes in. You have to start actually doing the work on yourself and looking in yourself, being honest and questioning yourself. And then why do you have these beliefs?
Is it the have I told you about the four corners, the cutting the corners off of the big pot roast story that Mark Passio tells?
I think so. I'm not sure on here though.
But it's what you're talking about. Things being passed down, and you don't know why you're doing it now, and you're like, why? So now you're in the newest, like right now times, and you're like, why do we buy a roast and then cut the corners off of it to put it in the pan? Why do we waste that meat? Well, I don't know. Let's ask mom. You go to mom, she's like, I don't know, that's what my mom did. And then you go to her, go to grandma's like, well, that's what my mom did. You go to great grandma, she says, oh, the pans that we had back then were too small, the roast wouldn't fit, so we cut the corners off to fit it.
And for all those yep, so
That's
true. Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Wow. But how long we been going, Cass? I know my ass is
just
getting
short of
numb.
an hour and a half, my friend.
Right.
So
there we go.
I think we've hit the natural ending point, and we can let everybody wander off.
Cool. Yes, it's been a busy day.
I enjoyed this. This was good.
Oh,
it's good fun.
Yeah, I enjoy our chat. I enjoy talking to Cass every week. So I just enjoy this. So thank you so much.
I made sure to ask Rick. I said I just met Cass, and then like my thing bailed, and it was like I heard that you guys were enjoying talking about food for us. I was like, I want to come back for sure. So thank you for having me back.
That's all good. Anytime, my friend. It's interesting to get different people's point of view and to have, dare I say it, intelligent conversation that may take a different path and may involve different waypoints, but still get to effectively the same answer.
Right.
And it's definitely a good thing to happen. I spend far too much time arguing.
Well, that's what I love. Yeah. That's what I love. There's nothing wrong with having discussions. You can do friendly. It doesn't have to be a yelling or a screaming match or being rude to people. If you have different opinions, that's fine. But you can still have a discussion. You can still. That's how. I mean, and I think that's what people need to get back to. Like just having great discussions. Then you take the information, do what you want with it. But nothing wrong with just having a great discussion. That's for sure.
Yep. Oh, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
So that's great. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I thank you again for coming back. I'm glad that your internet held out.
Yeah,
so we could actually get.
Yeah, it was a good thing. It was meant to be this time.
It was meant to be, and I want to thank everybody in chat. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm happy that we got to do this show, and I will be here next Saturday again. I got no company. I got no company lined up for the next couple of weeks, so we're good.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. And yeah, take that back over here so I'm not twisting my neck here. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. It's been good fun. It really has. And thank you for coming back on, Jonathan. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you for having me. We'll do it again. We'll do it again.
For sure. Take care, guys. Stay safe.
I'll see you out there somewhere. And if not, Mandy and I will be back around midday WA time for our little laughter. So grab your thermos, grab your esky. Don't forget the tissues and come and join us for a laugh. Love you all. Be safe.
Take care.
full of day diddly-lee-lie-do.
Shoo-la-la-do, shoo-la-la-la-la.
Fiddle-la-la-lay diddly-lee-lie-do.
Oh-da-dee-da-hoo-dee.
Whack full of day diddly-lie-do.
Shoo-la-la-do, shoo-la-la-la-la.
Fiddle-la-la-lay diddly-lie-do.
Oh-da-dee-da-hoo-dee.
Whack full of day diddly-lie-do. Shoo-la-la-la-no, shoo-la-la-la-no. Fiddle-la-la-lay-diddly-lie-do. Oh-da-dee-da-hoo-dee. Whack full of day diddly-lie-do. Shoo-la-la-la-no, shoo-la-la-la-no. Fiddle-la-la-lay-diddly-lie-do. Oh-da-dee-da-hoo-dee. Whack full of day diddly-lie-do. Shoo-la-la-la-no, shoo-la-la-la-no. Fiddle-la-la-lay-diddly-lie-do. Oh-da-dee-da-hoo-dee. Whack full of day diddly-lie-do. Shoo-la-la-la-no, shoo-la-la-la-no. Fiddle-la-la-lay-diddly-lie-do. Oh-da-dee-da-hoo-dee.